Shalom, 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 shalom. Yes. Quality can be improved on my phone. Quality can be improved on my phone. Yeah, it's a bit better now. Yartaza, the quality of the video itself does not bother the viewers. But if I'm going to continue with the lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, who teach them real well, and shalom to the sincere Akim, spreads truth and sincerity. Shalom. So as the title already, says, I want to talk about the implant that lets you pay with your hand. We, at Great Millstone, starting out with the other apostles, GMS on down, we understand, that implant is referring to the RFID microchip or the NFC chip. That's also being mentioned in scriptures as the mark of the beast. You see, and as society is continuing forward, the beast, which is referring to the EU and the NATO, is pushing this technology slowly but surely on the people. And how they're doing that right now is by making it more convenient. They take gradualism to achieve their goal concerning this, and of course also with other means. But we really see that slowly but surely they are trying to integrate this technology within society, and their end goal is to microchip as many people as they can. So this is an article on BBC.com which got released yesterday, and the title itself, your desire can read it. But it says, the implant that lets you pay with your hand. And the first picture that we see in this article is a female that is paying with her hand. And it says a woman paying for her meal in a cafe using a contactless payment chip implanted in her hand. And it goes on to say, Patrick Powman causes a stir whenever he pays for something in a shop or restaurant. This is because the 30-year-old doesn't need to use a bank card or his mobile phone to pay. Instead, he simply places his left hand near the contactless card reader, and the payment goes through. Right now we're able to use cash. We're able to use our bank cards. We're able to use, the NFC reader on our phone. That's linked up to our bank account to pay for things as well. But this man, he is able to, swipe his left hand at the card reader, where the card is supposed to go, where your phone is supposed to go, and make payments. The reactions I get from cashiers are priceless, says Mr. Palman, a security guard from the Netherlands. But this is a man, that lives in the country that I grew up in. You see, so this is something that's actually very close to home. He's able to pay using his hand because back in 2019, he had a contactless payment microchip injected under his skin. The procedure hurts as much as when someone pinches your skin, says Mr. Pullman. It's another picture of, I suppose, the left hand of Mr. Pullman. And it says, Mr. Pullman has a chip under the skin of his left hand, and it lights up when it comes to close contact with the payment machine. So before I'm going to continue, I want to see how the quality is doing of the video. And as I can see, it's, could go better, but your results still edifying. It says a microchip was first implanted into a human back in 1998. It is only during the past decade that the technology has been available commercially. And we also see that, they're pushing it more and more commercially as well. You see, they're making sure that whether it's in movies, series, games, the news, these things are being mentioned. Why? Because they want to normalize it onto the masses. They want to make sure that the people are getting used to it more and more. And, at the moment that they see that the people see it, they might, oppose to it because it's strange towards them. But the more and more they see it, the more and more it's being pushed in their face, the more and more eventually they're going to accept it. Right? Because it's going to be a so-called normal part of society. You see, when you would say to someone in the 1970s, the 1980s, that, they would have, cell phones, that you could, a video call with, with someone at the end, at a different location upon this earth, they would think that you will be crazy. But in this day and age, it's normal. Back in the days, they already put those things as well in movies and series. You see. Reading on. And when it comes to implantable payment chips, British Polish firm Wallet says that last year it became the first company to offer them for sale. Take for instance Sweden. There's information, concerning what's going on in Sweden, how employees, are microchipped and they're able to, enter into the work office. They're able to pay for their food within the building. They're able to open doors. You see, so we see that Sweden is a forerunner for this technology right now. You see. It says the implant can be used to pay for a drink on the beach in Rio, a coffee in New York, a haircut in Paris, or at your local grocery store. Says founder and chief executive Wojtek Paplota. It can be used wherever contactless payments are accepted. It said Walletmore's chip, which weighs less than a gram and is a little bigger than a grain of rice, is comprised of a tiny microchip and an antenna encased in a biopolymer, a naturally sourced material similar to plastic. And for y'all wondering, what that actually looks like, this is what it's actually referring to. You see, this is the technology that we're talking about, when referring to the mark of the beast. You see, and this is what we are warning our people from, concerning what's coming. That they should not take this technology, because taking this technology is eventually you bound down to Esau Edom, the so-called white man upon the earth, and then you proclaim him to be your master, which, the one that we should be serving is the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. See? This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in their mouth, said the Lord Yahawah. See, the people of the Heavenly Father are the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. but also those who are scattered among the heathen nations that might look like the heathen nations, but his lineage does go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob according to their father's seed line. You see? So this is Jeremiah 31 and verse 1. At the same time, said the Lord Yahawah, will I be the power of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. So the people of the Heavenly Father, like I mentioned, are the Israelites. So back to 2nd Esdras chapter 15 verse 1. The word prophesy over there, the meaning of the word prophesy goes into pro, which means before, for sign means to say. So we have to, tell our people things that still need to take place. You see, we have to warn them, basically. This is Ezekiel chapter 33, starting at verse 1. Again, the word of the Lord Yahawah came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of that people, and say unto them, when they bring the sword upon the land, the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman. If when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, and whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own hand. Of course, we understand that the sword, is referring to, when destruction come upon our people, when the Most High would allow a certain a nation to, to come up against us. You see, but the point of this matter is that the Most High, sets up watchmen that need to take heed unto what is happening upon the earth and warn the people. Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. But it also says, if when he sees the sword come upon the land, blow the trumpet and warn the people. So if we see the danger coming, if we see what's going on and we warn our people, then whosoever heard the sound of the trumpet and take not warning, if the sword come and take him away, the blood shall be upon his own head. See, so when we warn the people and the people hear what we're saying, but they don't take heed to what's being said, which in this case means that they're still going to take the implant, that the so-called weapon is coming up with, in the near future, then it's going to be upon their own head. Why? Because we gave them warning, man. We gave them time to understand and realize, like, this is going to happen, and eventually it's there. And if you still decide to be in league with the so-called white man, you're going to reap those same, then you're going to reap the same reward as them. Because the scripture says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be punished. So if you want to cling on to Esau Edom, you're going to get the same reward. Verse 5, he heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. See, so if you decide to listen to the service of the prophets Yahawah Yahawashi concerning the matter that we talk about, in this video I'm referring to RFID microchip. If you take heed concerning that and don't take it and realize that the so-called white man is about to push this chip more and more, you see, if you take heed, then you basically save your life, man. Verse 6, but if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require the watchman send. So if we understand what the RFID microchip is, we see that Esau Edom, is bringing that closer and closer, towards implementing. But we're not warning our people. Then the people that take it, their blood shall be upon the watchmen. It shall be upon those that knew what was coming, but didn't warn the people. You see. So this is verse 7. So thou, O son of man, I've set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. You see, so the Most High set up service the prophets that would warn the people. Therefore thou should hear the words of my mouth and warn them from me. So we're warning our people. When they say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou should surely die, thou doest not speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, the wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou wilt deliver thy soul. You see? So we're telling our people to turn back to the Heavenly Father, you see, and accept the Lord Yahawashi, because through that, they're able to be delivered, you know. Yeah, back to the article. So that's what we're doing. You know, we're bringing out this information to warn our people. So the article says, Mr. Paprota adds that it's entirely safe as regulatory approval works immediately after being implanted and will stay firmly in place. It also does not require a battery or other power source. The firm says it is now sold more than 500 of the chips. You know, and that's not, you know, entirely correct, because the scriptures also mentions that grievous sword came upon those that took it. So it's not it's not entirely harmless as they as they say. Slakia. Yeah, this is Revelation chapter 16, in verse verse 2. And the first went and poured his vow upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sword upon the man which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. You see? So if you take this implant Salakia, then you're eventually going to receive a sword, man. And how the Apostle Tahar once brought out that this is referring to a, you know, basically to a cancer, you know. So them saying that it's entirely safe is incorrect. It says the technology one of more uses is a near field communication, or NFC, a contactless payment system in smartphones. Other payment implants are based on radio frequency identification, which is the similar technology typically found in physical contactless debit or credit cards. It says, for many of us, the idea of having such a chip implanted in our body is an appealing one. But a 2021 survey of more than 4,000 people across the UK and the European Union found that 51% would consider it. You know, and one of the brothers in our camp always mentions, man, like, you know, did they ask you? Did they ask me? They didn't ask anybody of us, man, you know, concerning this matter. So, yeah, but yeah, according to this article, you know, they say that half of those that were interviewed, you know, or filled in that survey, you know, would consider taking that RFID microchip. It says, however, without giving a percentage figure, the report added that invasiveness and security issues remained a major concern for respondents. Mr. Palman says he doesn't have any of these worries. Chip implants contain the same kind of technology that people use on a daily basis, he says. From key fobs to unlock doors, public transit cards like the London Oyster card, or bank cards with contactless payment function. The reading distance is limited by a small antenna coil inside the implant. The implant needs to be within the electronic field of a compatible RFID or NFC reader. Shalom Akia. It says he adds that he is not concerned that his whereabouts could be tracked. You know, and I also did a little bit of digging before, you know, going into this lesson, and I found this article concerning understanding RFID and RFID operating ranges, and it says radio frequency identification has an enormous variety of uses, ranging from public transportation to animal identification and product tracking. In industrial environments, RFID tags are used to track parts of assets, useful for automation and for logistics purposes. And the point that I want to focus on, of course, is the low frequency RFID, which is going into animal tracking, because if not the same, a similar technology that is being used to track animals, will be used, to be implemented in people. It says low frequency RFID. Low frequency RFID has the shortest read distance, about 10 centimeters between the reader and the tag, which is a fairly short distance. It says the read time is also slower. However, the low frequency has the least amount of radio interference. Low frequency covers ranges from 300 from 30 to 300 kilohertz. Low frequency is also not considered globally compatible due to differing frequency and power levels worldwide. Common uses for RFID include animal tracking and access control. So here it mentions that low frequency RFID is used for animal tracking, which is very similar to the technology that they want to implement in humans. And I don't know how far the technological developments are going concerning the RFID technology that they want to implement in the people. But you also have to consider that they're busy with the 5G network, which has a very strong effect as well. You see, it has a short range, but it has a very powerful, I say that, let me see, 5G explained. Well, can't find anything that quick, but the range of 5G is not that far. You see, but it's very strong. That's why they're trying to put the 5G towers, in a lot of places. But like I said, I don't know how far they're going with the RFID technology that they want to use to implement into people. But the concerns concerning the people, that they are afraid of the invasiveness and security issues. Those things are actually things that those people should consider, like what Mr. Palman says, that he doesn't have these worries. It's because the technology that he has might not be able to go that far. But they're going to come up with technology, man, that's able to track you constantly wherever you are, man. Also with the they say that with the nanobot technology that they have, everything that they're doing, man, is to get full control of human. Because what are these people really trying to do? They really want to be like the Most High upon this earth. So they want to have full control of everything that's going on. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3, that no man deceive you by any means, for that day should not come except the coming of falling away first, and that men of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So before the second coming of Yahawashi, we as a nation, we would lose the fact of who we were. Of course, that happened after 70 AD. As we lost our heritage more and more, we pursued the ways in the Heavenly Father, you see. But around 1950s, 1970s, business brought back, the understanding of who we are as a people. You see, but also before the second coming of Yahawashi, that men of sin will be revealed, the son of perdition, which is referring to Edom, the circle of men upon the earth. Verse 4, who opposed and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. You see, that's what they're really trying to do, man. They're trying to portray themselves as being gods upon this earth. You know, why else would you try to mess with biology of people? Why else would you manipulate fruits, vegetables, and all kinds of things upon this earth? See, why would you do that? If it's not your intent, you know, to become like the Most High upon this earth. You see, so with the technology that they are creating more and more, they want to have full control and access, you know, concerning everything, where you are, what you're doing, you know. It says, he adds that he's not concerned if his whereabouts can be tracked. RFID chips are used in pets to identify them when they're lost, he says, but it's not possible to locate them using RFID chip implant. The missing pet needs to be found physically, then the entire body gets scanned until the RFID chip implement is found and read. Yet the issue with such chips and what causes concerns is whether in the future they become even more advanced and packed full of a person's private data. You see, so in the article itself, it also it talks about, you know, future advancements concerning this technology. See, because right now this might not be able to be done, but hey, what about a couple of years? Or they might even have it already, but they're only showing like the prototypes to the masses. We don't know what they're doing behind closed doors like that, you know. Reading on, and in turn, whether this information is secure and if a person could indeed be tracked. You see, so it also talks about how certain private information can be stored upon this chip. It says financial technology or fintech expert Theodora Lau is co-author of the book Beyond Good, how technology is leading a business-driven revolution. She says that implanted payment chips are just an extension of the Internet of Things, and what she means another new way of connecting and exchanging data. Yet, while she says that many people are open to the idea, as it would make paying for things quicker and easier, the benefit must be weighed up with the risks, especially as and when embedded chips carry more of our personal information. How much are we willing to pay for the sake of convenience, she says? Where do we draw the line when it comes to privacy and security? We'll be protecting the critical infrastructure and the humans that are part of it. You see, so a couple of things are being mentioned in this article a lot. Just the private information being stored on there, but also the ability to make payments, you know, with this chip. See, the scriptures talk about it in Revelation 13 chapter. This is Revelation chapter 13, starting at verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. You know, the beast is referring to the EU and the NATO, you know, which is also being mentioned as the revived Roman Empire. You see, verse 16, and he calls it Slakia. And it says, and as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. The image of the beast is referring to the way that this society is being set up. You know, if you're down with the ways of this society, you know, you're basically a part of it. You know, you're agreeing with it. You see, but if you're not according to the ways of the society, you're not down with how they're doing things upon this earth, you know, and how they're trying to cause the society to move in a certain way, you know, with less and less freedom, you know, very invasive rules and regulations are being made, you know, then one of the things is that you're going to be killed, man, because you're not down with the ways of this society. You know, a couple of things that we seen ourselves during this pandemic, you know, is that what would happen for people if they would not, you know, take the jab. You know, those people will be excluded from certain, you know, daily things. You know, certain people will not be able to go to the store. You know, they will not be able to travel, so restrictions were put upon the people, or they were not down with the ways of the society. Of course, they said, that things, the jab would not be, how do you say that? Let me think what the translation is. Sometimes, the translation between Dutch and English is like, mandatory. They said that these things would not be mandatory, but the way that society was going, how certain jobs, businesses, etc., set up their rules within the company, made it for people impossible to either stay there if they would not, want to take the jab. And these things are coming in the near future as well, man. You're not able to partake in this society if you're not down, with the ways of this society. You see, which one of the things that include, as a part of the image of the beast is, of course, taking this RFID microchip. Verse 16, and he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. You see, so nobody's exempt, from the trial that's coming upon the earth. You see. And if you look at the word caused in the Greek, which is out of the top of my head is the word poeo, and it also says to prepare. So this modern day revived Roman Empire is preparing this earth and the people upon it, to receive that mark. And what do we see happening more and more? We see that they're making things more and more centered around this RFID technology, because this is an article that talks about how central banks, are opting, for the digital money. So it says, this is on PwC. The race to digital money is on. PwC's 2022 CBDC, which is like the central bank digital currency global index, shows which central banks are in the lead. It says the future of money is digital. It is estimated that more than 80% of central banks are considered launching a central bank digital currency or have already done so. The 2022 PwC CBDC Global Index analyzes and ranks the leading retails and wholesale CBDC projects. The index evaluates the current stage of CBDC project development, also taking into account central bank opinions and public interest. It says overall retail CBDC projects, digital currencies designed for public use, have reached greater maturity levels than wholesale projects, digital currencies used by financial institutions that have accounts with central banks. But the past year has seen progress on a number of successful wholesale pilots. You see, so this is going on. These governments, these central banks, are really, opting for this digital currency, which eventually this is going to be the future. You can look up this picture of the development of money. Back in the days, it would be gold and silver, livestock, and then slowly but surely would change. It would change to coins made out of the material that we have right now, the paper money, then bank cards, and eventually, it will be completely digital. See, so they're really preparing this way for the masses, to receive this. Verse 17. In that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the number of the name, or the name of the beast or the number of his name. See, so if you don't have this microchip, which can be implant in either the left hand or the right hand, or the technology that Tesla is developing, the Neuralink technology. If you don't have that in the future, you won't be able to participate in the society. You won't be able to buy and sell. And one of the things that was being mentioned a lot at the beginning of the article was the fact that people were able to buy with it. Let me see. It says the implant can be used to pay for a drink on the beach in Rio, a coffee in New York, a haircut in Paris, or at your local grocery store. Says founder and chief executive Wojtek Paprota. It can be used wherever contactless payments are accepted. You see, this is going to be the new norm in the future. And on the Wikipedia, if you look up microchip implant within brackets human, it says a human microchip implant is any electronic device implanted subcutaneously, subdermally, which means under the skin, usually via an injection. Examples include identifying integrated circuit, RFID device encased in silicate glass, which is implanted in the human body, in the body of a human being. This type of subdermal implant usually contains a unique ID number that can be linked to information contained in an external database, such as identity document, your identification, criminal record, medical history. We see that this is something that they pushed during this pandemic. They pushed the fact that this was, a possibility to be put on, under. It says medications, address, books, and other usage. See, I'm going back to the fact that this is able to be implanted subcutaneously via an injection. If you look at the word charagma in the Greek, it says an imprint of mark, which that's referring to that RFID microchip. The root word of that is karax, which the outline biblical usage is a pill or stake. Which, if you look up a pill or stake, it's a sharp, pointy instrument which they use to etch statute, for instance, with, like this, boom, 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 and that can be seen as the syringe, which is synonymously with the syringe. If we go even deeper, into the root word of karax, it goes to grapho, which says to fill with writing, which that is the stored information that can be put on a chip. You see, so all the information is out there that the RFID microchip is actually something physical, not something that's spiritual, such as an embargo or sin, Let me see what else is on there. It's crazy. Here it also talks about the history concerning RFID technology, and Neuralink is under as well. It says 2019, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funded MIT to develop an invisible microneedle patch used to store digital medical information, along with a vaccine. 2020. On 28 August 2020, Neuralink CEO Elon Musk reviewed a company-directed line video podcast showcasing a pig called Gertrude with a coin-sized computer chip in her brain to demonstrate his ambitious plans to create a working brain-to-machine interface. You see, and the thing concerning Elon Musk is referring to the forehead, the mark that we put in the forehead in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. Some good information on this page, man. Damn. It says usage. Damn. It says for microchip implants that are encapsulated in silicate glass, there exist multiple methods to embed the device subcutaneous, ranging from placing the microchip implant in a syringe or trocar and piercing under the flesh subdermal, then releasing the syringe to use a cutting tool such as a surgical scalpel to cut open subdermal and positioning the implant in the open wound. A list of popular uses for microchip implants are the following: address book, cryptocurrency wallet, damn, which is referring to the CBDCs as well. You know that the central banks are going after. It says key card, medical history or medical records, medical identification tag, payment cards, travel card. Other uses, either cosmetic or medical, may also include digital identity, medical records. Let me see, what else does it say? Building access and security. Yeah. It also says potential usage, governments, central bank, digital currency, electronic identification, immunity, passports. Yeah, man. A lot of things is on here, man. Let me see what it says in the misinformation. Okay. Yeah, man. This is Revelation 13, verse 18. Here's wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man, and his number is 666. And that goes into 666. We all understand that 666 is a very demonic number, man. And we know that Edom is the physical counterpart of Satan upon his earth. It says in the Greek, it says charisai stigma. And if you go to the word stigma, it says a mark of servitude pricked in the body. And if you look up that information in the Blue Letter Bible, look a little bit more in depth, into it. It talks about how some devotees, did it, out of free will, basically. So this is charisai stigma. The word stigma, it says, outline of biblical usage. Dope. Let me see. It says outline of biblical usage for the word stigma. A mark pricked in or branded upon the body. Ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut. Which that also shows you, like, this mark, is yet again something physical, man. It's going to be cut or pricked in the skin. Okay, dope, man. Into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their God. And a devotee, is basically someone that's dedicated, but they're doing it willingly, So those are the people that are doing this out of free will without even being faced, with, you either take it or you don't. With the consequence of not taking it, you're gonna die. You're doing it out of free will. Let me see. Yeah, so it also says chipped individuals on the Wikipedia. Several hobbyists through to scientists and business personalities. Yeah, man, showing you that Esau is their God indeed, man, because you bow down and pay your allegiance, to Esau, man. That's going to be your downfall, man. We're going to go into that as well, Rawchaa. It says several hobbyists through to scientists and business personalities have placed RFID microchip implants into their hands or had them inserted by others. You see, I know there's this man in America. Let me read a couple of them. It says Amal Graafstra in early March 2005, hobbyist Amal Graafstra, which I think this guy's Dutch, because he has a Dutch last name, implanted a 125 kilohertz EM4102 bioglass encased RFID transponder into his left hand. It was used with an access control system to gain entry to his office. Soon after, in June 2025, he implanted a more advanced high-tag S2048 low-frequency transponder. In 2006, he authored the book RFID Toys. Graafstra uses his implants to access his home, open car doors, and to log on to his computer. With public interest growing, in 2013, he launched biohacking company Dangerous Things and crowdfunded the world's first implantable NFC transponder in 2014. He has also spoken at various events and promotional gigs, including TEDx, and built a smart gun that only fires after reading his implant. Graafstra, CEO of Vivoki and Dangerous Things, has gained prominency for being an inventor and business commercial distributor of subdermal RFID NFC implants on the world stage. Implanted in both hands with his company's implants, he aims to bring awareness to the growing implantation movement. You see, it goes a little bit more on like this. There's a guy that Mike is Clark. He had it implanted in his hand and he filmed the procedure. So there are people out there that doing it willingly, that are, basically down with the ways of the society and how it's being, going towards that fourth industrial revolution, which is going into how they're trying to merge man, with machine. You see, but hey, we are Rawchaa, man. This lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of great Millstone who teach you real well, and shalom to the sincere Akims, earnest truth and sincerity. Shalom.